called in
to Box and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash and tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these stuff.
because they know the brews.
And they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
Save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
brews.
and brews.
Bucks and brews.
Welcome back to Bucks and Brews. So we decided to do a twofer tonight, Nick.
We did, but nobody else is going to know that because this will be in the queue for a while.
It will be. Hit us with your new normal opening that we missed on the first episode tonight.
As always, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We appreciate you listening to us.
What are you drinking tonight, Nick?
Tonight, I am finishing up some Busch Light Peach.
All righty.
Cheers. And you?
Well, I have nothing now.
I'm
out of drinks. But I did have vanilla Java porter, salted caramel porter, and oatmeal cream pie
nice.
earlier. So we kind of wanted to do a little bit of venting and a little story time because we have not caught up too much lately. So I know you have some stories.
I have a few.
Let's start with your stories.
So I did my first ever school board education meeting.
Oh, I did see something about this.
Yes. All right. So yesterday was a Monday.
Yes.
And before my kid got out of school, there's a very there's a lady who somehow feels that she's okay with talking with me, and that's fine. And she said, "Hey, you should come. There was people bullying some kids last time and they didn't feel safe. And you said you'd be there." And I was like, deal. Happened to be yesterday, which is a Monday. And I'm like, shit, I have a real estate event, but I'll stop at because I'll always go for people.
Yeah.
It's just this. And by the end of it, I didn't regret it. They just didn't need me. Right.
Okay.
Like, granted, I didn't feel needed. Right. I lost chances of my real estate aspect of things, but so I get there and all right, so there's a guy who had posted something in a Facebook group about like, oh, I'm pretty big, I'll be there front row, and I'm not gonna tolerate this. And I was like, cool. I liked it. Showed up. I'm a very early person. He was early. Now, mind you, I didn't know how this works. So you grab a thing that has the itinerary of what's going on. Right next to it's what I thought was a sign-in sheet.
Okay.
No, this is a sign-up sheet.
Okay.
For wanting to speak.
Okay.
And so then they go over some bullshit, and then they have.
I've been to several school board meetings, mind you.
Yeah.
There was just who wants to talk, and we just got up and talked.
Yeah. Mind you, 28 people had signed up for this, and I was the second person there, so I just
signed up.
I filled up my shit, not even reading, right? So first guy so anyway, step back over. I walk in and I see this guy, and here I'm wearing a full rainbow hat.
Yep.
I'm wearing Dawn's new shirt that says "People of quality don't fear equality," right?
Yeah.
Because I am kind of boasting it up a little
Yes.
bit. Okay. And I look at this guy and I was like, I think you're the guy I have to sit next to. Why is that? I was like, because I think we're here for the same thing. What's that? I'm like, damn, dude,
why are you so angry?
I was like, because apparently you and I aren't going to put up with assholes. And he's like, huh? Oh yeah, I heard some bullying shit happening, and I seen your post. And he goes, oh, well, I guess I should have seen your rainbow hat or whatever.
Oh my God.
Jesus, bud. I was like,
thank you for playing the game.
First of all, calm down there, Billy. Like, I was like, and he's like, yeah, you got some size. I mean, I got some height on you. And I was like, that has nothing to do with any part. Like, I was like, Jesus, bud. Like, you have height. What does that have? Like, all right, cool. And so he gets up and he's like, and he was kind of weird. And he's like, I don't like bullies, and goes into like this very like Undertaker type thing. Yeah. And he's like, I stood up and I said, hey, I'm Nick Watkins. I'm a proud parent of a kid that goes to this school. I'm here for the same thing the last guy was for. I heard there were some things that were going on. I was cordially invited to come here and make sure kids felt comfortable. I don't do bullying. I don't teach my kid to bully. I expect that you guys don't bully, and I expect that you won't either. And I expect the rest of everybody here to act appropriate and let anybody speak that chooses to speak. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you for your time. And I just said it. That's literally like all I said, right? And I'm a big dude, right? Like, if you don't know, I just am. I'm a big freaking dude. And so I go sit right front row, like legs kind of squished in these like little chairs and shit. And I sit there and, then the fun fucking happens. Okay. So the first part, they do this recognition thing for one of the schools. And I was like, that's cool. Like, good. They recognize a lot of great things happening. And then they took a 2-second recess, and then we had open talk. 28 people, as I said, talking. And I remember I was basically play-by-playing my wife. Okay.
Yeah.
I said, so I was like, man, so it was like 6:15, and this didn't start till 6:30.
Okay.
And I'm early. I was like, man, there's 8 kids here already. Like, from what I didn't turn around. I was like, I didn't know this is what kids did. LOL.
Because how many board meetings did you go to as a kid?
None.
Yeah, me either.
I said, shit, I didn't do anything. I was like, fuck, we were losers. I was like, is this what is this what rich kids do? LOL. I was bowling and these kids were out fighting for shit.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, the board meetings I went to were at Godwin, and we had students that showed up to those board meetings and they weren't rich.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck? I was like, I go, do I get to curse and shit? And here's the thing. I was like, I understand my job. I understand why I'm here. And I was like, I was asked to security, right? Like, I wasn't asked to do anything else. Like, and she's like, my wife's giving me advice. She's like, I wouldn't give him any reason to diminish the message. And I was like, it's not my fucking job. I don't care about the message. That's your job's to get that out, type of thing, right? Like, and I was like, can I curse? Like, I have no idea. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I do this, right? And I told her, I was like, my job is to make sure the message is said, and not to deliver it, right? I was like, but I get the joy out of telling people to fuck off, right? Like,
But can I say fuck off?
like she said something or whatever. And I told her so this is a thing I'm gonna do, and I think I'm gonna do it very, very soon. I'm gonna pay for my doctorate. Okay, because I think we talked about this in an episode. Like, I can pay $3,000 and have a fucking doctorate from a different country. That way I can walk around.
Let's say I'm Dr. Nick Watkins.
I am, right? Because on the Board of Education for us, there's like 3 doctors up there.
Oh, yeah.
They all say doctor. They make sure that it's on their fucking thing. I'm just gonna be doctor, right? Like, just so that way people think that I
Before he
have
recognizes
something.
Dr. Nick Watkins.
That's exactly it, right? There's so much to it. And she's like, you can put your name on anything. I was like, no, these are fucking acrylics. Like, they're really nice name placards and shit. Let's say, trying to figure out what JD means. We still didn't figure that out. One of the guys' name was Craig Johnson, and it said JD. I'm like, does he go by JD? I don't know.
I don't know.
But let's say, there was like 100 and something people there.
Mm-hmm.
I figured 5 people would show up to this shit. Like, who the fuck goes to a Board of Education meeting? Like, I didn't know. And then a bunch of them did leave after the recognition. So, like, some of them brought their families. The teacher got
Just to be recognized.
Yeah, and so, like, hey, congrats, they did awesome. I was like, that's awesome. And then I texted, I was like, Jesus, some of these kids are fighting for fucking church and school.
Oh yeah.
They want to be able to, like, pray whenever the fuck they want,
Which they are totally fucking allowed to do. You just can't force everybody else to do it.
Well, like, and they were saying that they have to have a teacher be part of the club in order for them to do it and recognize, but the school won't allow that, and so it's really hard for them. And I was like, so you want to be a recognized club, you can't just be a club. And to me, like, my brain is just always about, like, well, fuck, we can get away with it without having to be Like I'm not gonna put it on my resume of
Oh,
I was
they
in the,
want it to be some kind of official thing.
right. I was in the Christian Brotherhood of whatever.
And if they want to do that, Hudsonville Unity Christian is not far from there. Go be in the club.
That's kind of what I was like. And so in my brain, like I ran through a lot of things. I was like, man, you can go to a Christian school, kid.
You
like,
absolutely can.
you can go do whatever. Told her this shit was whack. And then I said, fuck, this is crazy. It started getting out of hand. So one guy stands up and he starts asking if we are educating or
Indoctrinating.
indoctrinating
Yeah.
people. And then
Because that's their new fucking buzzword.
and then goes on and he talks about global warming. And he talks about how everybody that talks about this global warming is absolutely wrong. He remembers back in the 50s when they were talking about an iceberg cap was going to melt and it's going to flood everything. We wouldn't be here. Well, that didn't happen. Al Gore has been saying a bunch of stuff, and he's made $330 million off of global warming. And
Did anybody stand up and goes, "Are you just pulling this shit out your ass?"
no, nobody. And well, because I was going to let everybody speak.
Yeah.
That was my. I didn't. I want people to think. So that's one thing I'll talk about here in a second. Let me finish this. But, he goes on, and then he talks about carbon dioxide. Okay, and he's like, carbon dioxide, and he talks about how New York won't be selling gas stoves anymore, and you'll never be able to find a gas stove in New York very soon. And carbon dioxide, people don't realize. And I was like, you do know that you get carbon monoxide poisoning from, I didn't say, I was like, it's a gas that doesn't get fully combusted and creates carbon monoxide. Like, holy shit, you don't know the difference of what the fuck you're talking about. Like, my brain was just like, and
These people just listen to Fox News.
This was
And
fucking
Fox News just gives them
See,
scary shit.
And the funny thing is like, I don't listen to anything, but like, I'm smart enough to understand, like, you're fucking stupid. And it was just funny to me. And so I texted her all of this. I'm giving her a play-by-play of a bunch of shit. They're trying to ban a book in our area. Now I want to get on that. But so let me go back. When I tell you, before I get to this book banning, when I tell you I was there to make sure that people felt safe, comfortable, whatever. David, I happen to be wearing Pride stuff, but if a Pride person or whatever said something,
You'd have said something.
I'm not going to let you attack somebody else. I'm not.
Right.
I am there to keep peace. I am there to make sure that nobody feels like their voice isn't allowed to be
Yeah,
heard.
if I would have stood up with that idiot talking and said, "Dude, go fuck yourself," he would have told me to sit down and shut up.
100%, right? Like, this isn't your fucking spot. That's their job up top, right? And people don't. So the problem is when you go in wearing a Pride hat and Pride shirt. Oh, another one of us liberals. No, ma'am. No, don't get me fucking. Like, you don't know me, right? Oh, I've seen you before. Yeah, we've met. Oh, I didn't know you were. You don't know, right? That's the thing. You don't know, David. I have voted more Republican than most people ever fucking vote. That's on a liberal or Democratic side, right? Like, no, I am not your guy. Okay. Oh, you're a Republican. No, buddy. No. Like, guess what? I'm completely fine with these guys doing whatever the hell they like. No, I'm not your buddy either. Okay. Like, well, I'm definitely not a fucking liberal. Like, that's the thing. I am my own person with my own thoughts and my own mind. Like, you're complete, like, you're way over here. You're way over here. I don't care. So I want to get to a point that really pissed me off. So I might go. I said I hope I never go to another one because what a fucking waste of my night. What a waste of my life. I didn't feel used and needed. But what I will say is every conservative that I heard stand up said, I don't think boys should be allowed in girls' bathrooms. Girls, no guys should be in girls' bathrooms. And in my brain, and every time that's all I heard. Because again, I'm on this big fight with my wife about sexism. No. I don't care if you're talking about trans aspect of things. Why did you not once mention that a girl should never be in a boy's bathroom? Why does that not fear you? Right? Why does that not concern you? Why is it only a boy? And so, like, that's how my brain thinks. Is like, no. If you're going to stand up here and say, hey, no boy should be in a boy or girl's bathroom, no girl should be in a boy's bathroom. Oh, okay. We have some type of open conversation where you actually understand that this is actually true. You're thinking that somebody's playing around, right? When you say it one way, you're saying this is playing around, right? Like, anyway. And so it just kind of caught my eye, or caught my ear, right? And I was like, this is, again, speak what you're supposed to be saying and do it with all you have to do. So, all right, there's a book that they're trying to ban. I don't fucking know this book. They held it up. I don't care. This lady gets up, and this is going to be a little graphic.
Yeah,
is what she says. I'm like, this is fucking okay. And she goes, all right, got this story. I'm going to say Mr. T, we'll call it America. That definitely was a name. And then, I don't know, Connie. I don't fucking remember the little girl wasn't part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mr. T's standing there, and, you know, America comes over, and Mr. T's like, oh, you know, I got a real neck pain. I'm going to pour a vodka and Coke. Gives America some vodka and Coke. Okay. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, first of all, like, drunk Nick's like, granted, I'm sober as hell, but like, I'm like, who the fuck drinks vodka and Coke? Like, if you use rum and Coke, that's a whole different.
Yeah.
But like, all right, we're
vodka and Sprite.
Right. Let's say vodka and Coke, and then gives it to America. Well, and then Mr. T, you know, gets a cramp in his neck, and he's like, hey, America, you should come rub my neck. And so then, so then Mr. T lays on his back, and I'm sitting on his butt and rubbing his neck, and then leads to the next thing. And she keeps like kind of going. And, you know, then Mr. T gives the boy a porno magazine and says, read this. And, all right, porno magazine, and this kid's read. And then, you know, it becomes so much more. And she gets into like some graphic type of things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, well, you know, now Connie gets told, shut up. This is how it is. And America's used to it. So it's whatever. They're grooming them from this. Okay. Mind you. And this is how my brain works versus the other people. And this lady basically talks about how this boy is getting molested, raped, whatever, all of it. And just kind of goes into fucking details of some, you know, it's not, but it's just, it was really fucking weird. Okay. And so I was like, all right, it is kind of weird. Okay. And then she finished it up with, well, you know, it could trigger some kids. It could do this. And I was like, see, well, so it took her, we were only supposed to have 3 minutes. She went God knows how long. Yeah. And they didn't stop her, which I thought they failed at, and they needed to.
Well, they didn't stop her because it supported their beliefs.
They're just chicken shits. That's why the school board, like, they're just chicken shits. That's why I'm going to be on it. And so then she's like, oh, you know, I could do this and this. And I was like, hey, but you're also missing the point that it could tell a kid that is having this happen that it's not okay. That, hey, this isn't normal. Hey, this is the type of thing. That's how my brain. Now, mind you, she said, and I mostly quote, this isn't a passage from this book, but it's like many other books that are trying to get in here, and this should be removed, not banned, not whatever, just removed. And I was like, wait, did you really just write a fucking full novel to teach me? You could, like, the book you want to ban, you couldn't fucking drawn out exact words, scriptures, whatever you call it.
Because there's nothing in that book that should be banned.
Well, you could have fucking, like, holy shit, you
There's
really
nothing in that book that should be
listen
banned.
to a fucking kid getting raped, a kid doing whatever, because it's like books that you want not in there, but you have a specific book you're fighting to not have. And
Which has nothing to do with the story she told.
You could have pulled fucking passage and said, this is why, right here, this, verbatim.
Because there's nothing in that book.
If it literally said, you know, he made some little 7-year-old suck him off, like, holy shit, I understand you don't want that book in there, but you
But
literally
that's not in there.
You sat at home, you wrote a full fucking graphic novel, made all of us listen to it, and you could have literally just gone straight fact.
You know what probably was in that book? 2 men holding hands.
That's
probably what it was.
But it blew my mind. And so, like, I let Courtney have it for like the rest of the night. I was like, this lady literally wrote her own fucking book when she could have quoted a book she's trying to stop.
This is the problem that we have with these people. And
Mhm.
and your school board is no different than most of the school boards in Ottawa County. They've elected these Ottawa Impact assholes
Mhm.
that run around talking about grooming.
Well,
and talk about, I don't want a man going in a woman's
Yep.
restroom. Okay, first off, if it's a trans woman, they're not going in that restroom to touch anybody.
right.
They're going in there to take a leak.
right.
Okay. And let's just dispel with that right now. You're not trying to protect anyone. You're just trying to scare that little trans kid back into the fucking closet so you don't have to deal with them.
And I get what their point is trying to do, right? Like I understand that. And I can't tell you to force, if the change has to be that, hey, there's a gender neutral bathroom that's locked single stall and nobody else can get in and everybody wants to go into it can, and the teacher has to wait 3 extra minutes for 3 people to go change. I don't give a shit. Like, hey, if this is causing that big of a fight for 1%, like 1% doesn't get the equal vote, right? But there needs to be something, and there needs to be a way to make sure everybody is safe and secure. Again, I'm there to make sure you're safe, you're secure, you're comfortable, right? I'm not gonna make my whole event around you, but I'm gonna let you know, hey, you're welcome here, right? Like if you choose to open your mouth, right, that's a you problem, right? But no, I can't believe this lady wrote this entire thing when she could have quoted a book.
This is the problem we're having with a lot of these conservatives.
Yeah.
Is they're making shit up. And a lot of them are too stupid to know that they're making shit up because they're doing, they're talking about what they heard on Fox News, which is just total horse shit.
No.
There's nothing to fear from a little trans kid. They're not doing anything to you. There's no indoctrination going on. The indoctrination that's going on is, done in the really scary places like the church. I would be way more concerned with my kids being left alone with a preacher than I would with a trans person. I haven't seen all of these accusations about drag queens molesting kids, but I've seen a whole lot of preachers, fathers that have molested kids. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens. That's the news cycle that has come around. I mean, there's a great movie out called Spotlight that details the Boston, I think it was the Boston Globe's expose on the Catholic Church of Boston and how they kept shuffling fathers around because these pastors kept raping children, and those are the predators you need to worry about, not necessarily the little trans kid that doesn't want to get their ass kicked because they identify, they were born with female parts but they identify as a boy. And the other thing they talk about is they're going through some change where they're cutting off their breasts and shit. That shit isn't happening either. You're not able to cut off your breasts until you're an adult, if that's what you decide to do as an adult. No 13-year-old's going, I don't want to be a girl anymore, cut off my boobs.
You can't get a vasectomy.
No, you can't.
And so one of the guys stood up and said there's only 2 genders. I want to be clear about this. Here's how we describe genders: XX and XY. Are those genders, David?
No, they are not.
So
they're chromosomes.
Thank you. Like I sat here and I was like, I wanted to be like, I think you pronounce chromosomes wrong, fuckhead.
Yeah.
Because sure, if you believe there's only 2 genders, right? That's completely fine. Okay.
You can believe that.
But let's call it what. And again, I have a hard time with whatever, right? Like when I tell Courtney, never once do I go, oh, the guy David, right? You know what I'm saying? Like Courtney, David, hey, right? If I say, hey, man, I say, what's up, man?
You say that to girls.
I say it to girls. All right, like I was golfing, right? Let's say I was golfing, golf outing.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, whatever it was. All right, boys, right? All right, guys. And I have a girl on my team. Nobody says anything. to me, it's just a generic fucking way to say, hey,
I don't know how many
let's go
times
group.
I don't know how many times the girls I coach look at each other and say, "Hey, bro."
Right. Say,
They ain't your bro.
say, but like but like those are three of the highlights from this
Yeah.
fucking thing. And so I want to go back only because now I learned that I can speak, and I might put myself lower on the name thing so I can just tell everybody how stupid they are.
Rebut everybody's dumbass opinions.
Yeah. And so I also was thinking about it. There's a lady on the board who my wife thinks that it's a lady. So somebody was talking about some church stuff,
Mhm.
and then she clapped, and she's up on the board.
Mhm.
And I don't care your opinion. Don't, David. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. The fact is you don't get to show that when you're supposed to be an impartial
Impartial, yeah.
opinion, right? My opinion doesn't matter until I go and talk with my peers, right? Like I'm a group of whatever, but like you don't clap in support of this while you're unless it's a I love Jenison. We can all clap about that.
Congratulations, Jenison softball just won regionals.
Correct.
Clap, clap, clap.
We can all clap about that.
Yeah.
Because if not, guess what? If you're happy that Hudsonville, granted Jenison beat Hudsonville, but if you're happy that Jenison won, no, don't be on my fucking board. We're on the wrong board.
Right.
Okay. We are all one.
Yes.
We are one. Okay. One is how I look at things. Okay. One. And it's not just my mindset, right? Because I can go, and we know this from many of our talks, right? I can go either way. I will support or negate so many different things. And whatever I seem fit. But my problem is right, like I'm a very true fan of democracy.
Mhm.
Okay. I've lost votes. I've won votes. Am I upset when I lose votes? Hell yes. Am I happy when I win votes? Hell yes. But at the end of the day, as long as it's fair, I'm fine with the fucking outcome because I have to be, right? Like, and so, hey, if my area comes and says this, and this is what it is, as long as it's not hateful, hurtful, harmful, or whatever, I'm going to look and say, hey, if every parent said, hey, because if you think about it, David, and here, let me ask this question.
Mhm.
Okay. And here's what I find. I'm going to tell you, I find this to be a very fair answer. We kind of talked about it. No boys should go into a girl's bathroom. No girls should go into a boy's bathroom. Okay. If we agree to put a millage into place, or if we have extra money in the budget, and we're going to have 2 bathrooms put into this whole place, that's a unisex bathroom that has 1 stall, it has a locking door. And that's going to be for anybody that wants to use it. Are you fine with that as a compromise?
Yeah, I'm great with that.
Okay. Right.
That's a fair compromise.
Fair enough. Right. And so I'm going to support, but like some people will be like, no, I don't want to. So I'm going to tell you, there's people who are like, no, he shouldn't be treated any different. Well, we think he's a girl, or she's a guy, and okay, no. Okay, there's compromise that we can have, right? This isn't a fight that we should be having. We should figure out how to fix this issue.
Let me ask you something. Okay. You have a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Let's say Tina. Tina doesn't feel like a girl. Tina feels like a boy. Tina wants to be Tony.
Mhm.
Does it affect you in any fucking way?
Not at all.
Does it mean anything to your life?
No.
If your daughter came home and said, hey, I saw Tina go into the boys' bathroom, what would you say to her?
My grandpa, we were on a fucking road trip and we went to McDonald's and he walked into the girls' bathroom, realized there was no urinals and still took a piss.
Yeah.
And that's all I'd say, right? Like I doesn't
It
Congrats.
didn't change anything.
I'd look at Emerson and go, did Tina have a good piss? Right? Like, okay, great. What does it matter, kid?
What would you say if she's like, Tina told me that she's a boy and her name's Tony? What do you say?
Okay. Did Tony go into the bathroom with you?
Well, no.
Okay, he went into the boys' bathroom.
Yep.
Okay, then he went to his bathroom. Cool. I'm never once gonna reach my hand down in the pants to figure out if you're a fucking boy or a girl. Okay.
There are people that will. And that's gross.
It's fucked up, right? Like, never. If you come to me and you tell me your name's fucking Sally, and I'm gonna go, cool, Sally. This is gonna be really weird. I knew you as David, so I'm gonna let you know David might come out, but I'm gonna try to fucking call you Sally. All right, Sally. From now on, you're gonna be Sally.
Your niece is a good example.
Yeah. Well,
When she got hired here,
yeah.
she sat Dawn down and said, listen, my pronouns are he, they.
Yeah.
And Dawn was like, okay. And I don't go by Jenica, I go by Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Dawn was like, okay. And Dawn told me, and I'm like, cool. And I looked right at her and I said, listen, I'm gonna fuck that up a lot because I've known you since you were a little kid and your name was Jenica.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best to call you Phoenix.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my best not to refer to you as a she, but I'm gonna fuck that up.
Well, and here's the problem is, so then we go on vacation. We go on vacation, and she didn't want Jenica or my mom to know.
Right.
So
Now she has to be Jenica the entire
I'm
vacation.
like, all right, so wait, you want me to call you she Jenica now? Then turn around and you want to be, and so like I don't play that game, right? You commit and you commit when you want me to officially make you this. Okay, like there's no flip flop whenever the fuck it's convenient for you.
Right.
There's no whatever, right? Like this isn't. I want to fucking do like no. This is how it's gonna fucking be, right? Like, and if you don't like that's I don't have to be part of that, right? Like that's completely fine. Hey, and honestly, 900% of the time, what's up, kid? That's all I ever say, kid. Hey, kid, what's going on? Oh, nothing much. All right, cool. See you, kid. I don't ever say fucking. If I have to yell, be like, hey, Jake, get the fuck over here. That's about it, right? But like, I don't care, right? I don't ever think I say their names.
Well,
I haven't seen my nephew. It could be my niece from now on. I don't fucking know.
Talking about indoctrination for a second, I have this question for you because I saw this a few weeks ago. How many people do you think would be religious if they weren't introduced to religion until they were adults?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say out of 100 people.
Till they're adults?
Yeah. So they don't know anything about religion, any religion, Muslim, Judaism, Catholicism, none of it.
Very hard. I'm gonna say like 25%.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably somewhere between 15 and 25 people.
Yeah. I mean,
So the vast majority would go, yeah, no, I don't know.
because I think and the weird thing is for me, and we're gonna get hate for this real quick. There's so many people that do bad things and then find God and think that it's their excuse to get over it, right?
Yeah.
And that pisses me off.
Well, not only that,
And my
but
favorite was I'm at a church and the guy's got multiple felonies. I don't know what they're for type thing. Oh, hey, our new youth leader.
Hmm.
Really? Huh. He's changed. He's come so far. He's found God and he's preaching it. So he's capable of it, huh? You're still allowing it, huh? And we're supposed to accept it, huh?
mm-hmm.
Seems good, huh? I know, hard pass for me, dog.
Well, and I know that if you want people to believe things,
Mhm.
you teach it to them young.
Very much.
So
My kid's in Spanish class.
I was just going to bring that up. Your daughter's in Spanish immersion classes,
Yeah.
and speaks, Spanish in
Yep.
these classes.
Mhm.
And by the time she graduates, she'll be very easily fluent.
Mhm.
Because when you're a child, you're a sponge and you pick these things up very easily. So if you want to control the masses, you control the information they are given.
Mhm.
And one of the best controls out there is religion.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter what religion it is. I don't care. But that's how you control a mass of people, is by religion. And then if you really want to control them, you point out boogeymen like trans kids. And they're the problem. They're the ones you have to protect all of the children from.
Yeah.
Not the preacher that's pulling them in the confessional and doing things with them they shouldn't be fucking doing.
Yeah.
But that little trans kid that just doesn't want to get their ass kicked. And these are the things I have major fucking issues with.
Well, and you know, one thing that gets me is the amount of people that actually showed up was great. I love seeing support. I am not a fan, and I don't know where to draw the age limit. Like the guy that was next to me, I don't think he had any right being there. If you ask for my honest opinion, yes, he was there for a reason. But if he was hired as security, right, that's fine. But the fact that, like, he even said, "Hey, I'm not from the school district. I'm from out of town. I'm here for this reason," and that's fine. But really, he had no reason being there, right? If you're not from my school district, why are you fighting for my school? Like, understand, you could do your protest and your support in any other way, write your letters, do all you got. Like, this is my school board meeting. And again, he's on our team. No, like, and so, you know, hey, if you hire somebody that's professional in what they are and you're gonna pay for their time, sure, I get that. And I get volunteering, but like, really, this is our school board aspect of things. So, you know, I say, I told my wife, you know, I'm here. Like, I go back to that. Like, I was asked to do this job. I was not asked for anything else. Like, if you wanted something else, if you want me to talk about how I feel, how I stand, how I do whatever, that's a whole different story. If now that I've gone and done it once, like, I understand what I have the abilities to do and think and say, but really, like, this is what we're here. Like, and that's how I live my life. Like, I am here for this job and this job only, right? Like, when I go to a tenant, I am here for this job. If you want to have a conversation, that's up to you. But if I don't wish to, that's on me as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, Grant, I'm not that person. Like, I don't look at it as that type of a way. I strictly look at things as black and white. Like, this is what, hey, we have a book ban that's coming up. Do we want to talk? Like, this is what it should be talked about, to allow people to, and the bottom of the page is what pissed me off, because the bottom of the page, I think I have a photo. Let me read this quick if I can. I'm pretty sure I can find it really, really quickly. It says, "This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and public for the purpose of conducting school district business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for the public participation during the meeting." Right? To me, that strictly states what this is. Anything else should never be allowed. My first setting should never be allowed. I'm not going to lie about that. They should have said, "Hey, we're not here for that. We're not here for what your opinion." When the first guy got through and got to say his piece, when I got through to say mine, I knew that they were bullshit. I knew that the gavel wouldn't come down. I should have been held responsible for my actions. And I wasn't. Like, I'm not afraid to admit that, right? Granted, I didn't read that paper until later, and also didn't know I signed up to speak. So, but my name got called, and I said, "Well, got to do this." And then I read, and then my brain said, "Oh, I kind of fucked that up because I shouldn't have said anything," right? Like, that's not what I was there for. This is what I'm here for, right? It's for the school board aspect of things. So, the other people, like, again, they ask you to have a 3-minute grand. They've limited it to 1 full hour, which is amazing to me. But you know, don't ask for people to only do 3 minutes. I get that there's a leniency if you have 2 extra words type thing, but really that microphone should be set. You should have 3 minutes, cut it off. Plain and simple, no questions asked. If you're going to finish speaking, turn around and say whatever, and then they're going to hold you into contempt or whatever they call it, right? Ask you to leave. And because I told my wife, I said, I'm going to ask the superintendent, what happens if I'm disruptive? What happens if because I have my intent next time is to tell people to go fuck themselves with those words. Okay. And what are they going to do? Right? Hey, sir, stop, blah, blah. Fuck you. Cool. I'm going to stand. And then are you going to call the cops? My only concern is, hey, if the cops come and I get kicked off the property, do I get to still pick my kid up from school? Because if I don't, then I watch what I do. But if I have no consequences for my actions, then what do I care about, right? And that's how my brain thinks. I'm gonna get away with as much as possible until you stop, right? I'm like a child.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know, and I think that's where a lot of these problems are coming from with the school boards is the playbook. Conservatives wrote these playbooks a long time ago.
Yeah.
When Roe versus Wade got passed, their playbook was we have to overturn Roe at all costs. It didn't matter what it cost. We just had to overturn it.
Yeah.
And they chased it like a dog after a bone. And then they caught it and they told them know what the fuck to do.
Yep.
And they basically decided, 20 some odd years ago that the way to get their opinions more mainstream was to take over the schools. If they can take over the schools, they can control what children are learning. It's one of the reasons Betsy DeVos was the Secretary of Education for 4 years, because her big goal is charter schools, which are for profit, and Christian schools, which are also for profit. I mean, they'll say they're nonprofit, but we all know that's horse shit. Because they're charging kids, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a year to go to school. That controls the information, that indoctrinates the kids. Again, if you take an adult and you show them religion for the first time at 18, they're probably going to tell you to piss off.
Right.
But if you take a 3-year-old and you baptize them and they go to church every Sunday for 15 years, they're going to believe in whatever God you've thrown in their face, whether it's Jesus or Allah or Odin or, Vishnu. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
They're just going to believe that because they don't know any other way.
Yeah.
Some of us, like Mike and I have talked, we both went to Catholic school.
So did I.
Well, not Catholic school, but Catholic church.
Yep.
And he went to Catholic school. I wasn't allowed because I was too clingy.
Sure.
And
clingy.
Too clingy. I didn't tell you that?
No.
So my mom took me to St. Margaret's, and my mom worked second shift. So I spent the majority of the time with my grandmother growing up, those first several years. And she took me, and father basically said he's not ready for elementary school because he's too clinging to you. So my mother decided to send me to Cooper Elementary with my grandmother, who I was around all the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't clingy to her at all because I spent most of my time with her, as a 4-year-old.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely ready. To which my grandmother went back to St. Margaret's and ripped father a new asshole because she was so fucking pissed. And that ended Catholicism for David.
Nice.
Which also allowed me to find a different worldview. We'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Because we no longer were a family that went to church. We didn't go to services. So I didn't necessarily not believe in God, but I didn't necessarily believe in God because it wasn't presented to me anymore.
Sure.
And then at 14 years of age, what was presented to me was George Carlin.
So, yeah.
And that was all she wrote because he made a hell of a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter whether he was talking about religion or government or stupid shit people do, because those were some of my favorite things. Did you ever look at your watch? And then a few seconds later, you look at it again. And then you look at it a third time and somebody goes, what time is it? And you go, I don't know.
No fucking clue. Yeah.
Because it's those little things that we all do that really ties us together. But then he would sit there and, he would use words in ways I'd never heard before. And he would talk about religion being bullshit or, businessmen being bullshit or the government being bullshit. And I'd be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. It made me very distrusting of authority.
Yep.
Because all of a sudden I was given a different worldview.
You kind of brought up just because you said bullshit. And I'm a magician, so I love Penn and Teller. Penn and Teller are atheists, right?
Yeah.
Outspoken. And one of the guys last night said, without religion, what keeps us what keeps us in check type of a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember Penn asking the question, some lady's like, what stops us from raping and killing people? And he goes, common fucking decency. You don't, like, are you do you want to go fucking rape people? Like,
This is this is always the question from the ultra religious.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't have God, you would just be out here committing crimes. No, I fucking wouldn't. I'm not an asshole.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't just punch you in the fucking face because you look like an idiot.
Right.
I might tell you you're a fucking idiot, but that would be the extent of my
Assholeism.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it.
I might look at you and go, lady, you're a fucking moron.
And so I almost started cracking up laughing because like while he's saying this or whatever, I was like, I wanted to blurp out and be like, why aren't you raping people, bud? Why? Like, really? Like, is that what you want to do? Is it the only reason you're part of God? Like, and that's what, like, next time, if I go next time, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to, like, that's going to be my speech.
Yeah.
Why are you not doing this? Is that what you want to do? The only reason you're not fucking raping people right now is because you fucking follow God? Like, Jesus, go get yourself fixed, buddy.
Well, that's just it. Religious people look at atheists as heathens. They're heathens and they're godless and they'll do all these horrible things.
Yeah.
They worship Satan and they, drink blood or whatever the fucking shit they say. Whereas I'm just a decent fucking human being.
Yeah,
I don't have these delusions that I should be sacrificing virgins and shit. Okay. That doesn't enter into my fucking mind.
Yeah. No,
and if it enters into your mind, we have a bigger fucking issue here. Okay.
And so I know I didn't do the story justice, right?
Yeah.
I didn't at all. I'm so, I would be so scared for my kid to go around this lady because her brain just thought of those types of things. It's like, yeah, she understands that it's not normal, but like, holy shit, who just sits and thinks about this? Like my brain just couldn't fathom the fact that somebody could make that up. And I understand that people write these things, but like, and here while she's talking about it, like well, the book was read to me. A Child's Called It, right? Kid gets beat up and does all like by his family and stuff. But like, and so I thought she was trying to get like that type of a thing banned and all that. And I was like, huh. All right. And then she just went, so there's books like this. And I was like, it just blew my mind because you could just quote it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my wife, like, I was like, did she just not want to get in trouble for reading parts and not giving credit to the author in the right spot? Like, does she think that these people are judging her?
There was nothing in the book
on a grade of paper. Like, did she not want to get hit by the publisher? Like,
there was
lady, it's sold to the public. You bought it, right? Or whatever. Now you own the rights to be able to talk this. Like, blows my mind.
So I'm not going to call this person out, even though I probably should. So there's a parent that I know because I'm close to their kid.
Yeah.
And he stopped watching Supergirl.
Okay.
You ever see Supergirl?
No.
Supergirl was on CBS and then it moved to CW. Right?
Okay.
You don't want to know why he stopped watching Supergirl?
Because it had a girl that was in a tight uniform.
So in the show, Supergirl's adoptive sister was a lesbian. And that was pushing the gay agenda on him. So he stopped watching it because it's too gay.
It was on the CW. There was no, like, what happened? Kissing?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, not gratuitous kissing, like
right.
Kissing.
Yeah, like a peck.
Hand holding.
Yeah.
They hugged. I can't remember a whole lot of making out or anything. I mean, it's a fucking superhero show.
Right.
Was there some, sure, maybe there was some making out.
Sure.
But it wasn't gratuitous. It was on a fucking broadcast TV.
Yeah.
It wasn't on HBO.
Yeah, this wasn't Skinamax.
No.
Say, huh. And
of course, I love this person's child dearly.
Yeah.
But this person knows what I think of her fucking father. Oh, I just said it was a her. This person knows what I think
it was a kid on your team.
No, I didn't. I just said it was a kid I know.
Oh, okay.
It is not a kid on my team.
Oh, okay.
You know this person actually.
Okay. We'll talk about it off air.
Absolutely. And they know what I think of their father. I think their father's a fucking homophobe. He's a fucking idiot. He's an asshole.
Really?
Extremely fucking religious.
Okay.
But again, he'd be one of these indoctrinating assholes that's out there going, they're pushing it on me. They're pushing it on me. No, they just literally want to be fucking left alone. They just want the same rights as you do. I asked you the question earlier. If the trans kid goes in the opposite bathroom of what you think they should go in, how does it fucking hurt you?
Right.
Doesn't hurt me.
Well, I mean,
I think they just need to take a leak.
if anything, worst case scenario, right? A trans kid goes into the bathroom and I feel uncomfortable. I'm probably just gonna hold it for 2 extra seconds.
Exactly.
Or I'm gonna whip it out and take a pee like a normal person, right? Because let's say it happens the 10th time and I'm tired of holding it and I really can't hold it, I'm probably just gonna piss.
So you came up with the thing, with Penn and Teller, and you're like, so without God, you'd be raping people, right?
Yeah.
You ever notice that the people that play these scenarios in their head, it's always a supposed boy going into a girl's restroom? I mean, you brought that up earlier too, because that's what they're afraid of, is this boy's going to go in a girl's restroom and they're just going to rape women.
Yep.
At that point, that's not a trans kid going in there. That's one of you motherfuckers.
That's a person that is right. And if you want to fight, so bring that point up. Okay.
Yeah.
So this guy stands up and you could tell it's his first time. He said it's his first time. And the only reason I know it's his first time is because he comes up to the microphone and he said, I have an issue I'd like to bring up. I was talking to a friend's kid or my neighbor's kid, whatever it was, right? And he's 40 something years old. He had to tell us. And he goes, "Oh, how's things going?" He's like, "Oh, I don't like it." He has to get a pass from school to go home and use the restroom because he doesn't feel safe in the restroom.
Mhm.
Okay. And his point was, well, there's kids in there vaping and doing other stupid shit and beating up people or doing whatever, right? And he's like, yep. So I think the school, they have security. They need to figure this out and they need to do stuff like that and blah, blah. And I was like, all right, so kids like him who doesn't feel safe even around his own gender, like the unisex bathroom where you lock the one thing and cool, there you go. But then all of a sudden it kind of hit him that he wanted to stand out. And so it was like an afterthought. And he's like, oh yeah, hey, guys shouldn't go into girls' bathrooms, and it just kind of like, I was like, so you had a totally different problem with the bath, and then you wanted to be in the cool kids club, and
Right.
But like you had actually, because if that's happening, you're right. We have an actual thing we need to talk about, right? Kids shouldn't be vaping in the bathrooms. Kids shouldn't be doing drugs in the bathroom. Kids shouldn't be doing a gang jumping in the bathroom, right? Like these are not things that should be happening. And you're absolutely right. We should be doing something about that.
And is this happening, and at what percentage, and how often is this found?
Right. And again, so if you're telling me that this is happening, great. Like let's make a point to make sure we have some security with this, right? Like, and then he's like, oh, with all the teachers, we should have this. And I was like, let me ask you this question. So one of the big things that some conservatives have said is teachers should have guns.
Mhm.
What is your feeling?
Absolutely fucking not.
Why?
So let's think back to when you and I coached together.
Mhm.
Let's go for people we didn't like.
Mhm.
Let's say they acted out and they had a gun. Could you bring yourself to kill them?
Oh,
Right. And that's the fucking reason.
so my reason, we go back to, and we talk about this all the time. I'm not going to go sweep a floor because I wasn't hired for that. I'm not hired to be security for your kids. I'm not hired to babysit your kids. My job is to teach your kids and teach them what I know, teach them the best of my abilities, teach them in the ways that I see fit. I don't understand why these parents want teachers to be something that they're not, right? Like,
Because
well, basically, they just want all conservative teachers.
they want all conservative teachers and they want unlimited guns.
Right.
And again, let me ask you this. So you have a 7-year-old.
I do.
Do you think she would be more distraught over active shooter drills or a trans kid going in a bathroom?
Active shooter drills.
Why?
Because she doesn't find guns to be safe. Let me give you an example. David, today I took my daughter to the public museum.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay. In my public museum, there is what I'll call old time town. Okay. So there's like rooms set up. So there's an old pharmacy and there was a guy in there giving his stuff. Okay. He was talking about, so like back in the 1900s, medicine was like in bottles. Okay. Big, not mason jars, but like glass bottles
Mhm.
with tops. There was powders, there was things. They just had labels on them. This wasn't like orange bottle pill things.
Right.
Like these pharmacists made prescriptions. They made medicine.
Like
They-
what a
they-
compounding pharmacy is now.
It's exactly, yeah. So these
Not
were-
to mention the fact that a lot of their medication was things like cocaine and heroin because it helps for pain.
So and right there was all of this. So anyway, so then there's an old store, right? I don't know the name of it. But you could buy linens, you could buy your cutlery and china and shit like that. And they have that type of little thing. They have a market, and it's apparently 10 cents back in the day to buy crackers, saltines,
Yeah.
and 42 cents for a can of tuna, which was kind of expensive.
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
little
'cause
expensive.
I was like, I think tuna's still the same price. It might be $1 now, but I was like, man, it hasn't really gone up that much if those are the
Yeah.
prices. And so like eggs and they have, it's funny because they have pickled eggs and pickles on the counter, like in big jars. And I'm like, man, I could have fit it back then.
Yeah.
But there's a I want to call it a wood shop, but there is a wood shop that has like lacquers and stains and things like that. So like an old hardware store is what I'd call it.
Yeah.
And then there's a gunsmith, small little thing. And there, like, it's all caged. Everything's behind glass and stuff. So there's a bunch of double barrel shotguns, a couple other shotguns. And there's actually, it was really cool. They have all the pellet sizes in like this ring that you could see, and then there's some guns, and then there's taps and all this stuff. And I was like, hey, look, this is how they make the like stocks have like this grip and things like that. They stamp really cool designs into things, and she's like, huh. But anyway, so my daughter didn't want to go into the gun thing. David, do I own guns?
Yes, you do.
And my own daughter is afraid of them
Yes.
and has never seen my guns.
Right.
Which is great. Like, people don't understand this. Like, and so I get my daughter in there, and I was like, no, you're gonna come look, you're gonna come have this. And she's like, oh, gun, blah, blah. And I was like, no, like, irresponsible gun ownership is a problem, kid. Knowing how to use them, being responsible with them, taking care of what you have, and knowing what the use is for this, that's completely fine. Don't be afraid of a gun. Be afraid of people that don't know how to be responsible with a gun.
Again, you're not a liberal.
Very much no.
I'm very much a leftist.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of more restrictive gun laws?
No,
Why?
because it doesn't affect me.
Why?
Why? I mean, I don't own a fully automatic because I'm not legally allowed to. I don't own a grenade because I don't know why. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
don't have a use for it.
why doesn't more gun restrictions scare you? So to get a gun now,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
mean,
have a CPL.
I say depending on how restrictions they are, right? Like,
Well, you don't have a CPL.
I do not.
So you find a gun you like.
I do.
How long does it take you to get the gun?
Depending on how I buy it.
Okay, let's say you
If it's a shotgun, it
Let-
takes me the time. I go in to register, fill out the paperwork. It comes back within X amount of time, and I can walk out with a shotgun.
okay, let's say you
A
go to
handgun?
a gun store and you're buying a 9mm.
Okay.
How long does it take?
3 days. Well, I don't know, because I've never bought one. Oh, I have bought one from a gun store. Actually, I think I got it. Oh, did I? I don't remember if I got it that day or if I actually had to wait. But like, I know I bought a couple from friends, handguns, and I just go in, I get fingerprinted, I fill out my paperwork, and I bring my buddy the copy, and I walk out with the gun right then.
Okay. So
So-
let's say
A day?
you had to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you give a shit?
No.
Let's say you had to wait a month. Do you give a shit?
No.
Let's say you had to wait 3. Do you give a shit?
Maybe.
Maybe. Why?
Because we probably have a plan and I procrastinated too long. And my buddy said, hey, we're going shooting here and we need this for the competition. Now I don't have a gun to go.
Right.
That's
So inconvenience,
inconvenience.
but not because there's extra.
I mean, how long does it take to get a
Yes.
fucking passport? There's
6
more
6
regulations
months?
on getting a fucking passport than there is to get a fucking gun.
It's harder to get a driver's license than it is to get a concealed pistol license.
You have to answer 100 questions to get a driver's license.
I had to sit in a 3-hour class and hit a target from 10 feet with a 22 handgun.
Oh, that's super easy.
10 feet. I could have
You just had to hit
spit
a
on the
target?
fucking target. Yeah, you just had to hit it.
Huh.
I could have spit on the fucking target.
Yeah.
I had never shot a gun in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah,
We got it because Aunt Sue wanted it.
that's right. Yeah.
So I went and sat in the 3-hour class with her. We shot at a target from 10 feet. Done.
Gotcha. And so yeah, and
I remember shooting for the first time at Silver Bullet,
yeah.
and I had the wrong magazine to put in the wrong gun, and I couldn't figure out why the fuck it didn't fit. I went and asked one of the guys, he goes, "Are you sure you should be shooting this?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know, but I got a CPL." How scary is that?
It's completely right. Like, but I say when it comes down to it, like if you're talking about I have to wait longer, if you have to make sure that my background is what it's supposed to be. I mean, dude, if you have a felony, you can't fucking vote, but somehow you can.
You can own a gun.
Oh, you can't, but I mean, you
You
can
can.
go. You can go get one.
Yeah.
Right.
There are places that you can.
Yeah.
Texas has turned into an open carry state. You can just open carry any fucking time you want. Doesn't matter what's going on.
Michigan's an open carry state.
No, this is different down there though.
Oh, okay.
Like you don't have to pass anything, do anything. It's fucking the Wild West down there. I'd have to look into what the change was, but Abbott wants it to be the most gun heavy state in the nation. Why?
Oh, and I say, right. I mean, we there's laws against road rage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because you're potentially harming other people and things like that. But we can't have this type but you're allowing people to carry this when we know that there's anger issues, when you know that people don't react and are not responsible.
They removed mental health restrictions.
Yeah. Which
And
is
then they
insane,
want to blame it on fucking mental health.
which is insane.
If you're not mentally well, you shouldn't have a fucking pistol.
Agreed. Right. Like you can't. Blows my mind. Right. And I don't remember. It's been so long since I bought a handgun because I heard it used to be 3 days or whatever
I think it is still 3 days.
because you have to and they put that law into effect or whatever because too many people were going out buying a gun and going to kill somebody the same day.
So this is the argument that always pisses me off. Chicago's a gun-free zone.
Yeah, it is.
And well, then why are people getting killed in Chicago all the time? It's because they're bordered by 2 states with the most relaxed gun laws. You can go to Indiana and just buy a fucking pistol out the back of a goddamn car, go to Chicago and shoot people.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about waiting for anything because they're highly conservative and they just want to push as many guns as possible. So that's great that Chicago's a gun-free zone, but they don't do anything to keep Chicago safe because they can't, because all you got to do is drive 20 minutes to Indiana, get your fucking gun, come back and shoot everybody.
Right. And it's I don't know. There's so much going wrong with how people are thinking. And again, you and I don't think the same as everybody else, but we don't need to, right? We just need everybody to be
We try to be educated on issues
correct.
because again, I don't know if this is a fear for you, but my biggest fear is to look like an idiot.
It's a huge
That's my biggest fear. That causes me more anxiety than anything.
Yeah.
I will literally not open my mouth if I'm not sure I'm right, because I don't want you to prove that I'm a fool.
I can see that.
So I'm not talking about shit that I don't have some basis of knowledge on, because I don't want you to go, man, I can't fucking believe you just said 2 + 2 is 18. You're a fucking moron.
Yep.
That would tear me apart. Case in point, growing up, the term of endearment around my house was dummy.
Yep.
And Dawn and I had been together probably, it was at least 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And my mom would always call up and go, "Hey, where's dummy?" And it really bothered me. It always bothered me, but I never said anything.
Yeah.
And I never said anything to my wife, but she fucking knew it bothered me. And she ripped my mother a new one day over calling me dummy.
Really?
Yeah, just fucking went off on her. And like 2 weeks later, my mother started bitching at me about Dawn yelling at her about that because she knows that I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was quiet. And she goes, what? And I went, it's always bothered me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
She goes, well, you know, I don't think you're stupid. I said, but do I? Because, you know, for
50 years.
You've called me a dummy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really feel that way. Great. I don't know that because all you've done for my entire life is go, hey, dummy.
Yeah.
And, you know, when people do these things, that's what you're left with, you know. I think I'm highly intelligent, but I don't know if other people think I'm intelligent. So if they call me stupid, that puts that doubt in my mind of, did I say something dumb? Did I do something dumb? Am I an idiot? I want to talk about this. So we know that I have an employee here I don't like, okay, because I'm a baby and a child. And again, I'm not going to deny that I'm a baby and a child.
Okay.
I'm going to deny that the reason this person thinks I'm a baby and a child is valid.
Sure.
Okay. And I don't know if I told you the story. I'm at practice one day, and I had actually had a conversation with my catcher Maddie about, you know, people overreacting to shit.
Yep.
And she goes, yeah, that person acts like a baby. I said, well, some people might say the same thing about me. She goes, no, they wouldn't. And I went, actually, and I didn't tell her what happened, but I'm like, I actually was called a baby and a child.
Yeah.
For stupid reasons. She goes, that person must be an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. And then like 2 days later, I'm at practice and I'm talking to Natalie, one of my pitchers, and I'm like, you know what I've learned? And she goes, what? I said, I've learned that you're like my pacifier. You ever see a baby throw a hissy fit because they can't have their pacifier? She goes, yeah. I said, that's what you are to me. I don't necessarily need you to pitch, but if I have you in my back pocket, I'm calm and I'm happy. But if I don't, I'm a fussy baby.
This is it.
And I went up to Maddie and I went, I guess I am a baby. But anyways, back to my story. Dawn says to me, hey, so-and-so really wants to talk to you, really wants to apologize, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't give a shit.
Right.
This person does not rate on my give a shit scale anymore. And she had said to me a couple weeks ago, she's like, so is this just never going to happen? I'm like, I don't see a time I'm ever going to want to have this conversation. And somebody better tell this person that, because if they try to have the conversation with me, they're going to see how big of an asshole I am. And she came home from work later that day or the next day, and she goes, yeah, I talked to so-and-so, and I basically said, listen, you're never going to have the conversation with David. He doesn't want to hear it. It just is what it is. He will be a professional when he's near you, but you two do not have a relationship. And the person goes, oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. And Dawn goes, it's the way it is. You're just going to have to deal with it. And they went, okay, I guess I'll just have to deal with it in my own way. Right.
Yeah. Because
I had to deal with I'm a baby and a child in my own fucking way.
Right.
And now the way I deal with it is go fuck yourself.
Pretty much it.
And I mean, I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole, but if you talk to me now, gonna be an asshole.
It's saying, right? I mean, you don't get to have everything you want, right?
No.
You're saying this isn't life. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too.
No.
Okay.
It's not Burger King. You can't have it your way.
You can't have it your way. So
sometimes we're assholes.
Let's say I think that was a fun little get to know us story time.
Yeah.
As always, everybody, thanks so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. Shout out now that I'm completely out of Busch Light Peach. Those were great. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you enjoyed them. We will be back with you next week, whether it's next week in real time or next week whenever you're listening to this episode when we put it up.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
You've dialed in
To Box and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips under cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these stuff.
because they know the
And
brews.
they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
Save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks.
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
Brews.
and brews.
Brews.
Bucks and Brews.